Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Let me just dial this down. Okay, so market is just open. Sorry, I'm just going to have to nip off just for a couple of minutes. In the next 12 to 15 minutes, we're just having a new cooker top being delivered. We smashed the other one by accident. So that's going to be delivered in about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'll just be gone a minute or so. So what are we looking at? Let me have a look. Let's get rid of that. So, okay, excuse me, just 1 second, sorry. Sorry about that. Just a phone call about my car that's having some work done at the moment. Expensive when they go wrong, cars can be. Armanas, good morning to you. Karina, good morning to you. Yeah, FMC. So, yeah, I took a loss yesterday, so I thought get away from the chart. So, I watched a video last night. Now, I'll show you guys again a little bit later, and it made me a little bit curious. So now you might look at this guy and think he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about, blah, blah, blah. But it just made me think a way at looking. Now, let's just take a quick example. If you're taking a $50,000 evaluation, then a PA account, if you say the two together, maybe a couple of losses and a pass, if you say $200, so you're risking $200 and you get $2,500 worth of drawdown. Now, what he does is he risks a quarter of the drawdown. Now, there's two things with that. One, it does get the accounts up quicker. And two, if you can control your emotions and just keep it in mind, all you're really risking is $200. I just found it really interesting. I'll show you the video. You can have a look at it later and make your own mind up. So there is a higher low there. There was 2 legs down there, so that was a possibility. But we do seem to be getting a bit of rejection here, but it's still a bit too early. So let me just look at my history. I just thought it's a different way of looking at it. Bear me just a second. ISOCAN, how you doing, buddy? History, where are you? This guy here.
5 accounts, right?
I'll just kill the sound. AG Trays. This was one from 3 weeks ago. I think I've killed the sound, yeah. He scales up. Now, if you had a $2,500 of your own money, you'd be risking $2,500, obviously. If you have $2,500 of prop firm money, you're only really risking $200, which is less than 10%. So have a watch of that and just see what you think. It's just a different way of looking at it. It is more risky, but if you keep doing it, it could potentially grow those accounts or bring that money in a little bit quicker. But I listened to it and I just thought it's interesting. Now, I know it's not for everyone. Some people might look at this guy and listen to what he's got to say and just say he's talking out of his arse. And that may be the case, but have a look at it. I thought it was just interesting. AG Trades, and it was how I scale my prop firm accounts to make $50,000 a month. Now, take that with a pinch of salt. Whether he makes that or not, I don't know. I tend to not believe anybody nowadays. But it's interesting. So have a little look and see what you think. When you've had a look, let me know tomorrow. I know some traders do that. They just use their accounts like an ATM, don't care about blow. Now, I know what you're saying there, but if you can scale it and make it pay, and use it as kind of like I'll risk those accounts and see what happens, it's interesting. But the trouble is, the difficult thing is with prop firms, when you get to payment level, you take a payment, which then leaves your account quite vulnerable. Now, in an ideal world, you would probably get yourself 10 or 20 accounts, grow them to maybe $10,000 each, and then say, "What I'll risk 3% or whatever, and then whatever I make over the next month on top of that $10,000, I'll take as a payment." Now, that would be a sensible way of doing it. So if you had $10,000 and you were risking, I don't know, 10% is 1,000, 1% is 100. If you were risking, say, $200 or $300, let's say for argument's sake, 3%, and you said, take a trade a day, whatever I make on top of that 10,000 at the end of the month, I'll pay myself that. That is the ideal scenario. The trouble is, it takes quite a long time when you've got zero in an account to grow it and build it to that level. And unless you've got another income, it's not that easy to do. What I tend to do is when I get to a level that I earn some money out of it, I tend to take some, but it leaves you vulnerable. So you always kind of feel like you're walking on a knife's edge. But if you use this as a plan, a way of making some money, then it's a possibility. Now, I haven't thought too much about it. I just listened to it and I thought, well, that's interesting. So I took a screenshot of it just to sort of, and I'll go back maybe later today and have a better look at it and have a think about it. But if you're taking risks, and maybe blowing accounts or whatever, this might be an option to grow accounts a bit quicker. But it's not for everybody. So let me have a look. What do people have? Like 30 accounts, trade one account at a time. Okay, so the issue with 30 accounts, see, at the moment I've got 10 accounts, 11 accounts. So now if I make, let's say I take 3 trades on one account per week and I make $150, that's $450. Now, you're going to have the odd loss. So let's say you make $300 a week. It's not a lot of money. But if you have 10 accounts, and on those same 10 accounts, just take one, I'll send you a link, just take one trade, just pretend you're trading one account and copy the other, you make 10 times the amount of profit. So that's the thing about, I think that's what you mean anyway. I don't want to make you sound like you don't know what you're talking about, but that's, some people just don't understand, but that's what it is. So like I'm doing now, I'm trading one account, and the rest are being cut. See if I I bring this in down here. I'm trading one account and I'm trading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 11 accounts. So the others are just being traded in the background. So they're copying it. So it's as if I've just got one account. So you effectively, you're only risking the same percentage per account, but it gives you the opportunity to make 10 times the money. You know what I mean? Let me just get the link off that. Okay. I save the link. Copy link. Okay. So I've copied the link there. I think that takes you to the actual video. But if it doesn't, it certainly takes you to the guy. There it is. It certainly takes you to guide, but the video was 3 weeks ago and it just says how he scales up. It's just a different way of looking at it. Now, if you've got 10 accounts, you may say, okay, well, let's try that with 3 accounts and just trade like 25. So if you've got 2,500 drawdown, technically he goes for 1-to-1. So he's risking 600 to make 600. Now, if you've got a 75% win rate, which I suppose is possible if you're going for 1-to-1, you kind of win 3, lose 1 in that case. You can scale that account up in a couple of weeks to get a payment. You take a payment, you've more than covered your money, and then you can kind of do that the next. So I haven't spent a lot of time looking at it and thinking about it. I just watched it for 15 minutes last night and thought, I'll come back to that later. It's definitely interesting. Now, the trouble is, we know we're supposed to sit here and wait for A+ setups. Now, the only issue with that, risking a small amount, you don't see a huge amount of setups. And the tendency is to try and take more trades than possibly you should do. So with going for more risk, you could say, okay, let's say, if I'm risking, say, $500 per account, even if I take 1 trade a week, if I wait for a solid setup, I'm making roughly $500 per week, which is a good amount of money. Now, obviously, it's not quite as straightforward as that. You are still going to have the odd loss. But with going for a little bit more profit, you're not under pressure to try and trade. You can literally wait for an absolute sitter and go, I'll take it, and maybe reduce it down to 2 points and do so. There's different ways of trading this. Now, obviously, trading prop firms aren't quite the same as trading your own money when it comes to risk, because your own money, $2,500 a drawdown, is costing you $2,500. With a prop firm, it costs you 1/10 or less. So you can be a little bit risking a little bit more. It's not quite the same. So, take it with a pinch of salt. Need to read the company rules anyway. Yeah, I mean, you can, with Apex, you can trade up to half your allocated max contracts. So you could trade 5 contracts. Now, I wouldn't suggest that if you were going to risk 25% of 2,500, you're risking about 600. So I would say 4 contracts maximum, maybe 3 to 4 contracts. But if you happen to win 4 in a row, you've got your account to payment straight away. You could take a payout, or then you could say, well, I've got it up a bit now. Let's reduce the contracts a little bit and kind of, do something like that. But I think the problem is, and certainly something I've noticed, when you only go for a contract, if I've got to get an account like my Traderfy accounts, I've got to get a $3,000. So I've effectively got to win 20 trades. And if I'm only taking 2 or 3 a week, you might think this is going to take me 3 or 4 months to earn a couple of $1,000. So the tendency is sometimes to take a riskier trade because you may feel like you've been sat here for a day and a half. Whereas if you do go for a little bit more money, you can sit and wait for better quality trades. So, I won't go too much on about it, but have a look at the video and see what you think. There's always, as I get a bit older, I'm kind of always I'm always open-minded. I never think I know it all. I'm always willing to listen to someone else's advice. You know, some people, you know, think, oh, I'll do it my way or the highway. But, you know, one thing I've learned is you never quite know what someone else might know that may be good for you. So, all people don't get funded. Accounts trade one way, own capital is different. Yeah. I mean, your own capital, you are risking the full amount, but you're not with a prop firm. So it's about how much do I want to risk. Now, risking your own money, you risk $250, you really are risking 10%, which you wouldn't normally do in your own account. But if you're risking $250, you're not risking 10% because the account only costs you the equivalent of $200. So effectively, you're only really risking 20, if that makes sense. I don't want to waffle on too much because I'll put people to sleep. But, you know, it depends how you look at it. Risk is about risking what money you invest into it, whether it be your own money or a prop firm. And obviously a prop firm, the risk is smaller because you don't put in as much. So we've had this push up overnight. Trading's been funny lately. I got to say, I had enough of yesterday. I didn't like yesterday one bit. I took a loss. So we had this channel down and 2 pushes up. I took a loss there. But in all fairness, depending on how you draw that, you may argue we'd already had a break. But we had a... See, I'll tell you what else I do as well. I've got a habit of doing this. And thinking... Okay, I've just got to quickly sign for a parcel. I won't be 1 second. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, where was I? Okay. Yeah, I have a tendency to do this. Now, when I look at other charts like Mac's and sometimes Dan's, they do that. So you can see 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 with a small break and a new low. So you've got to keep an eye on that. I tend to do that a little bit too wide, but if you think we came from the top to there, you look at all those, top there, top there, top there, they all touch nice, small break, new low. So I think that's why I lost that. But nevertheless, it happened. I don't let it bother me as much. I find usually I used to panic, jump straight back in. But now if I can manage to get away and have a couple of scotches and I'm okay. So what have I missed? Jay, how you doing? What video am I talking about? I've got a link to it up here, bud. It's just a guy from the US, youngish lad. He trades prop firm accounts a little bit more riskier. In some cases, up to a third of max drawdown. So if he's going for, say 1-to-1, I think the reason that popped up there is because we got a bearish bar with a lower high and a failure. Now that trapped a ton of people. There was some people going short there, so you got a lower high, second entry long, which triggered and a failure. It went down so close to stopping that out, but it didn't have it and shot up. And as soon as it broke above there, it shot straight up, taking out stops there and there, and possibly here as well. So let me have a look. I'll sort it out for you now, bud. So that, looking very rangy, trapped some traders there. I absolutely get why you'd go short there, looking for a range. Trouble is, it's a little bit unclear. So lower high, if you don't like the bearish bar, lower high failure. I bet a few people got stuck there, I'll tell you. I'll show you the video. He grows accounts quicker, but you've got to, if you do it, you've got to make a plan of it and stick to it religiously. Now, if you're blowing through accounts and accounts and accounts, it might be an option, but I wouldn't consider doing it until you can at least kind of trade. Otherwise, you know what I mean. That's it there. How I scale my prop accounts. But I watched it and I just thought that's really interesting. So I'm going to make a point of coming back and listening to it again and thinking about it. And I always like to have a bit of a plan. But trouble is, he says $50,000 a month. Take that with a pinch of salt. Just because someone says they make that doesn't mean they do. But it doesn't mean they don't also. But I just thought it was really interesting. I won't play the sound, otherwise it will just... but that's how I scale my prop firm accounts. But that's the guy. If anybody's missed it, whatever, just ask me again and I'll bring it up again. But yeah, interesting. That's it, I think. How come you can do that? I didn't think you like... you're admin, aren't you? I'm going to say I didn't think people could... I didn't think people could post something. That's good. I think what I'm going to have to do is make everyone admin. That way we can all post something. Oh, brilliant. Russell, good morning to you, bud. So it's hard to say. 2, 3, maybe a triple test there. But yeah, I bet there was a few got caught there. Let's see if I can... Oh, hold on a minute. Oh, maybe they didn't. Maybe this is looking like a channel. I had it as a channel up, so I probably wouldn't have taken it anyway. So I had that, I think, like that, in which case I wouldn't have taken that anyway below the EMA just because of this. As tempting as it is. But if you took that, it triggered, you came down and it didn't stop you out. And then when it... The trouble is you never know that that's going to work. It could be a channel, but it may not. We support everything you do. I think it's good policies to listen to what I tell you and do the complete opposite. I don't think you'll go far wrong. Okay, news coming up in 5 minutes. Yeah, Thomas took it. Mind you, his closed... That happened. It's closed above the EMA. Let me have a look. So we got Oh, sorry, my mistake. He took that. My mistake. Yeah, some took it. I wouldn't have took it because I don't like, in fact, they haven't reloaded. I wouldn't have took it purely and simply. If that had closed there, you can almost, high-low, you can almost bet you're going to hit that. And if you hit that, it may do that, but it obviously clearly shut up, so that there was definitely some traders trapped there, no argument. But yeah, I get coming off the top, you're going to get people looking at that. Trouble is, it's a little bit of a mess, so I wouldn't tend to do anything here at the moment. If that finished full, you think there's a fair bet that's going to push up, but yeah, Thomas Wade's second entry long traders. I wouldn't have took that anyway, to be honest with you, just in case, because we certainly could be getting something like that. You don't know, do you? I'd like to see a break out of it in a new low. We had a break and a matching low, but it's hard to know at the moment whether we got this move up and 3 attempts at breaking low. You don't know how far this thing's going to go. We ain't far from this magical 700 up here. It's been pretty bullish the last few days. That's no. Yeah, I didn't like yesterday. I ended up just going off and drinking some scotch. Well, I didn't really, but I had a couple later. But okay, news is in 2 minutes. My charts are more or less identical again. I don't understand why this happens. End of day deselected. Okay. And my count is almost identical. I don't know why it does that from time to time. KQ, how you doing, buddy? They're almost identical. I don't see the point having a second chart if it's not different. I just don't know why. I can't. Sometimes it did this last week. I just couldn't change it. Tell you what, let's click deselect there and see if that changes. That's a bit better. And then do that one and then change that one back. What's going on here? They're almost identical. I can't get them to change. Let's have a go. I think I did. Let's put that to 4 days. Apply it. And reloaded it. Did this for I've been using this second chart now for months and months. And all of a sudden last week, they were almost identical. Still the same, 13, 13. Don't know why. There's no point in having a second chart if it's no different. Odd. You know. So I like the way that's touching there. If we can get 2 legs back there. It's a little bit of a... Let's try duplicating it and changing it. That helps. Nope, still the same. That is odd. Might as well get rid of it. There's no point in keeping it. Okay, so we've got a little channel down there with the break. Hopefully a new low. Okay, new low. Let's see how this reacts. Not a fan of that, I got to say. Be a slightly shorter day for me as well today. I got to go and pick my wife up from work. I've only got one car at the moment. Hopefully, we should get the other one back in a couple of days. So I've had to steal hers this morning too. A few bits. So we're going to do about an hour and a half today, I think, on stream. So channel break, new low. We do seem to be getting a little bit of support across there. You can see that there. See it a few times there. Not sure about that. It's been slow, isn't it? The last couple of days, really slow moving. I think didn't I finish streaming about here yesterday? I mean, that's all we'd had. It was a really slow day. Just not a nice day either. Doesn't look like the 2000 tick chart. Looks more like the 2-minute chart. That we got big sweeping moves and loads of congestion. Then it wasn't a nice day to trade yesterday, I got to say. Just pretty choppy. Just looking at bookmap, there are orders up here. You can see them there from kind of 45 to 47, kind of around this area. I wouldn't go short here anyway, but a couple of legs up. So channel break, new low. It's just hard to trade this stuff at the moment, really. Might do this for most of the day today. FOMC. Sometimes it doesn't do much. Other times it just slowly just goes back and forth. Excuse me. How everybody else is doing. Caribbean's getting battered, isn't it, at the moment? Jamaica, I think, mainly. Cuba as well, I think, partly. Cuba's a bit north, isn't it, than north of Jamaica. Quite lucky over here, really. We get nothing dangerous. We get no sharks. Well, nothing that's going to eat you anyway. No poisonous spiders, no poisonous snakes, no earthquakes. No tornadoes, no hurricanes. We're quite lucky. Try reloading my charts. Think short, mate. It's hard to tell here at the moment. It's not. I mean, you can see 2 legs up there, 2 legs down, 2 legs up. Sorry, I'm having a yawning fit again. Yeah, there are orders sat here. 1, 2, 3, maybe a triple test and then short. It's hard to say at the moment. Market's just untrustworthy at the moment. It's trading's like a cheating ex-wife. That makes sense. Not that I've ever had one. Moving really slowly. Yeah, I hate this. I'd rather either move a bit quicker or just stop so we can do something else. So trying to break new low, one attempt to go higher. So I don't know what's going on. Oh. Yesterday, yeah, you're not wrong, mate. I hated yesterday. I'll say. See, do you know what? I look back at that a couple of times, actually. I'm surprised I actually got in there with a 14 tick risk. I don't usually do that. You ever notice sometimes you seem to be a little bit more risky than other days? Usually I'm super strict about bars that, if I think the trade's that good, I may get in on a limit order, although I don't much, but it's always slow. Yeah, you just don't know, do you? Wake up. Can you give me a big slap, Karina? I keep falling asleep. I need to wake up. Channel 2 attempts push higher. It's hard to say, or I don't know. We're finding some support, then we dropped below it a couple of times, so this may go up. But we could have a channel break new low, 2 attempts to push higher. Excuse me. Attempts to push higher and then down. The trouble is when it's like this, when I talk about high probability setups, what I consider high probability setups when you're risking a little bit more contract wise, this wouldn't be it. Channel new low, maybe it's a triple test. I think you've got to have something absolutely obvious. Guns just mentioned that. I don't know in what context he's using it. This like a triple test trap, basically. Yeah, trading in this is just it's too risky. You don't know what it's going to do. It could come up to the top. It could drop straight back down. It could do absolutely anything. In fact, I'm just going to take a quick few-minute break, make myself a coffee, because I'm going to sit here and yawn otherwise. And there's nothing more rude than someone talking to you while they're yawning. So I'm just going to pop that there. I'm just going to take just a few minutes, make a quick cup of coffee. Don't go nowhere. I'll be back. See if this wakes me up. Igor, good morning to you. Okay. It's been one of them days that I can fence it. Bounce, bounce, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Nothing you can do here, really, is there? My guess is, looking at Bookmap, price is going to move up above there. There's a bearish bar there, a couple of legs up, which is triggered. Now, I'm just having a rough, call it a rough guesstimate there. We've got orders at 45 and we got orders at 48. Now that is 45 and orders up to the top. So my guess is 1, 2, 3, maybe a triple test, certainly 2 legs up. My guess is price will move up and break that. Just based on what I can see on, where are you? Where's it gone? Just what I can see on Bookmap. Where's my Bookmap gone? Not as many orders down here, more of them up there. So my guess is price is going to be drawn. Obviously, it does depend on. It does. It's on a bike. Excuse me. Why won't it not pop up? Come on. Yeah. Orders up here. Usually it drifts towards those. So you might say, well, why didn't I go long then? Because I use this for a bit of guidance just to help me kind of figure out where to stay out as opposed to where to get in. But look, price has done exactly what I thought based on those orders. It popped above there. Now, channel break new low, 2 attempts to push higher. I wouldn't go short here at the moment because we seem to be going sideways and that's quite large and I don't like the stem. But my guess is based on what I was looking at Bookmap, there's orders up here. My guess price was going to move to that. It's just not quite as straightforward as jumping in long because it may go a bit sideways or come down a touch before it does. But, you know, Bookmap does give me some guidance and I use it mainly for where to stay out of a trade. If I'm looking to go short here, for instance, and I see loads of sell orders right above me, then usually I'll stay out of it. But you can see where price at the moment, 45. There are orders at 48 or marginally below 48 and a 52. So if I put those lines at 48 there was at 45, it's pushed through that. So 48 is up there, more or less at the top. So channel break new low. We have bounced 3 times, so we've kind of made a good effort to go short, and it didn't work. So my guess is price is going to go up there. You may say, well, why don't you take that higher low because price may come down and retest the midline, in which case will it be stopped? Market works in funny ways. You got the orders on Bookmap. Look through. Yeah, I kind of Bookmap. I've kind of just got used to how it works. I've watched a bunch of videos over the last 12 months about it, and I don't pretend I'm any expert by any means on it. But what I do is look where orders are and just see if price heads towards them. And for the most part, they do. Now, these are passive orders, which means they're sell orders sat there. Now, if all of a sudden, you can see the aggressive buyers and sellers here. If all of a sudden you get a mass amount of aggressive sellers, and it overtakes, the buy orders, the sell orders, it'll push price down. So, but it's a guideline, and the reason I use it mainly, as I say, is if I'm looking to trade, maybe going short at the top of a range, and I see a massive orders above me, sometimes it'll trigger you, go up, hit those orders, and then do what it's got to do. So if I don't see a large amount of orders, it helps me just make a better decision. But that's what I mean. Can you see these aggressive sellers now? There's double the amount of aggressive buyers, which is pushing this price down, even though there's more passive orders at 48 up here. So that's why it's not an exact science, but if it was that easy, you'd watch it, make a decision, and win every time. But that's kind of how I use it, just to sort of keep me on the right side of it. If I see a lot of traders shorting above where I'm shorting, now most of us have seen that video from the trader. He's not with us anymore. Is it John something Paul? He's a British guy. He was a trader for years, and he says if you put your order where you normally put your stop, try it and see what happens. And that kind of proves my point. If I go short there, my order's here, my stop's here. If I put my order at my stop and there's orders up there with bookmap, it will trigger me, push up, hit those orders, and then you may make some money. So it's just kind of making a point by saying, inexperienced traders tend to get in a bit too premature when the more experienced ones that kind of, enter where their stops are going to go. It's just a kind of a broad outline. As I say, nothing's exact in trading. As much as some people may make out they make an absolute fortune, they have an easy life and they get everything right, they don't. Let's just pass my first eval. How much time do I have? I think you get 2 days, mate. I know you used to get 2 days. It's a bit different now because you used to have to sign. I don't think you do anymore. Someone told me they've changed all the how you sign. I know they've changed the layout parts, but someone said you don't sign anymore. So it used to be the case that as long as you've signed it, you get a couple of days, but I'm not too sure. But what I will say, mate, is it'll only cost you $85. So, if you're waiting for a paycheck or something like that, just pop it on a credit card for a couple of days or whatever. At least you've got it then. But as I say, it's only $85. You have until they charge a subscription again. Okay, so 4 weeks, is that? A month? Okay, I'm not too sure about that, but I don't think you could probably trade it without. Yeah, you obviously couldn't trade it until you pay for it, but that would be okay. My simple rule: never go short, only go long. If the market runs against you, buy at the next support and wait. My simple rule: never go short, only go long if the market runs against you. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to think about trading, isn't there? That's interesting. Yeah. Have you ever noticed though, when you're a revenge trader, the market seems to do the complete opposite? It's odd, isn't it, how you work? But what I will say is the trouble is, I suppose, from an inexperienced trader's point of view, you see price going up, so you buy, and then price comes down. So when price comes down, you think price is coming down, let's sell, and then price goes up. And if you get an example like this, where we go up, down, it goes up, traders buy, comes down, stops them out. It goes down, traders sell, pushes up, stops them out. I suppose when you get used to knowing how price works, getting in at certain areas, put in kind of the next kind of if you're going short here, you don't really want to be going short, do you? Even though price may come down, but just by following the way the market's worked, when it comes to hit and miss, straight away you got more chance of getting things right. You can see price. I wouldn't necessarily suggest you do it, but you can see price is hitting that level. And when we hit that level, we come back down. And we push up, we hit that level, we come back down. So if you just shorted at the top, you know, even without a plan, you're shorting in the right place. I wouldn't, you know, necessarily suggest it. You're still going to have a plan, but it just goes to show you for the most time, if you go with the market or the way the market's been going, you've kind of got half a shot. So just for argument's sake, if you, let's do a little experiment here. So price is looking like it's coming down now, isn't it? Let's say, for instance, this seems to be around about the bottom. If you bought there, put your stop there and got out before the top, but that's a 1 to 2 risk, that is. This kind of market, I probably wouldn't go for that much. So let's just do it 1 to 1. Kind of get in there around about the bottom, put that just before the lows and see if it works. Just basically go in with, you know, what's happened. I'd probably put that there, in which case it probably still didn't take us, but got 2 legs down. See, the trouble is we wait for a signal bar, which is actually part of the move. Whereas a lot of people may just think, forget the signal bar, it's bouncing here, let's just put an order in here, put my stop down here out the way. Whereas we will wait for this to come down, signal bar to push up, we're getting in here, you're actually out there. Yesterday, saw buying pressure, I did not write it here, unfortunately, you went short. Okay, so that would have triggered. Yeah, I did. Yeah. To be honest with you, I should have taken that purely and simply because it was 14 ticks. But yeah, I kind of know my mistake yesterday. Yeah, so if you just bought here, we're in this trade now. Actually, tell a lie, we're not, are we? Oh, yes, we are. It did drop below there. So let's say we theoretically took this, we bought the bottom. Instead of waiting for it to push up and give us a signal bar, that's a chunk of the move already gone. So let's just say we did what a lot of traders do. They'll just put a buy order at the bottom and vice versa. I only have a crappy 2-minute chart. Yeah, I've never kind of traded Pats on anything bar a tick chart, to be honest with it. A range bar a little bit. But I know a couple of the guys in the Discord have a 2-minute chart. Well, look at that. Okay, so you'd be stopped out there, whatever happens. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Trouble is, there is no magic bullet, unfortunately. Channel 1. You may call this 1, 2, 3 a triple test. Where's Bookmap looking? There's orders at 43 up here. So that might not be a bad long. It is a second entry short. We've bounced 3 times there. It's tempting, but it's big again. Is there enough space, room to the top? Not really. Look at the size of the bar. Yeah, it's hard to trade this. Half that move's gone, isn't it? Bar hasn't triggered anyway as of yet. I mean, it is a second entry long. There is 2 legs down. We have bounced here 3 times. But when we push down into a range, as we know a lot of the times, we'll push out the other side, we'll rattle around here and then drop out the bottom. I mean, ideally, something like that, you want it to drop out and close here nice and bullish, giving you at least room to the EMA. Yeah, that trade I took yesterday was shit, really, in all fairness. That was it there. We kind of had this move down, and I saw this. What's that? I put this. And then we kind of had two legs up. Now, this may have worked. I expected these to get tested. I think I had something like that. We hadn't made a new low yet, but it looked like a big push up, and all of a sudden it came down, two legs up. Now, it would have been much better if it had triggered above that bar, but then it came down nice and bearish, so I'm naturally thinking two legs. Having said that, if you watch down on a lot of Mac, they'll usually draw that channel like that. Touch, 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 small break, new low, and then avoid it. And that's what I should have done, or maybe I should have said we've had a break and we've already had two attempts to go lower. So let's just give this a bit of a wide berth. But we had that push up. I thought maybe a leg down and then a second leg. But the trouble is, you don't have a lot of time to think. Now, ordinarily, I wouldn't have taken that recently because of the size of it was 14 ticks. But what I find sometimes is if you've had a good run and some good payments and your bank's looking quite healthy, you tend to take slightly riskier trades. I think Karina mentioned something about that. You tend to take slightly riskier trades because you feel a little bit more comfortable. When you kind of got to make the money, you're a little bit more careful, aren't you? Life here, lads. Any advice for trading the first go? I need about 4K for the first payout, and I am trading with just one contract. So it'll be a long grind. Yeah. It's a tough one, mate, really. You've got 2,500 drawdown, haven't you? So if it's your first one, I think it's more important that you keep it a bit and grow it. Yeah, the temptation is to go for more, but I don't think it would be the right thing to tell you. So I think you'd be better off just trading at the one contract and just let it take time, really. One thing I will say, you can speed up the payment level by risking more, but if you have trouble taking losses and your revenge trade, it's the wrong thing to do. If you're finding that you're revenge trading, there's usually because you're risking too much. Now, if you risk $400 and you lose, you may revenge trade. If you lose $20, you're not really going to revenge trade. So the secret is, I think, really is to risk the amount of money that doesn't really affect you. Now, there's another level as well. If you're confident in your skill and you're happy to play the numbers game and you're confident that if you risk 20%, that you're not going to lose 5 trades in a row, you could go for more. But it does depend on you. But as it's your first, I think the sensible thing to tell you would be just to trade one contract. Just sit and wait for a trade, take it, nothing more, nothing less. Try and keep it as simple as you can. Don't kind of overcomplicate things, because if you get too risky, it can go wrong, mate. You know what I mean? Now, just a quick example. I'm just going to shoot back to that trade I marked yesterday. Now, this is what I said I was looking at. Yeah. Channel down, 2 legs up. I was looking at a new low. Now, Mac and Dan had their charts like that. Now, look at that closely, just for 1 second. I'm going to bring you to something I've just seen. It touches the top of the first bar. It touches the close of the top of the second bar, and it touches the close of the top of the third bar. Break new low. So you wouldn't necessarily be thinking about going short. So, looking at today's, we've got exactly the same. Where was I looking at it? Here. So, you could argue, now sometimes it'll break through, could argue we've got a channel down there with a break and a new low, so maybe avoid looking short. But what happened is it pushed back up and came down for a second leg. So sometimes I'll see Dan and that have charts like that where they've cut the top of a bar off, but it is touching there and it is touching there. Now, you may say, break new low. So Paul's looking for shorts, but we still had 2 perfect legs down. So it's so difficult to get it right all of the time. It's not an exact science, and that's the problem. It's so much down to experience and feel and gut feeling that comes from experience, and to try and make the best decisions you can. You don't have a lot of time to think about it. Markets move quick. And obviously the quicker you're moving with it, the quicker your mind has to work, and the more chance emotions have got of playing a part. That's Max at the moment, which is pretty, apart from down here, it's pretty much how I've got it. He's got the pop out there. He's got the little range here. Yeah, see what I mean? Here, he's got that where it's broken out the side and made a new low, but we still had 2 legs down. So that was my point a minute ago. So that will be a better option. So technically that's played out. So if we had a second entry short, you wouldn't take that, but it went up and came down for a second leg. So sometimes, even though you may say it's had a break and a new low, it may still pop back up and come down for a second leg. So do you avoid shorts there because it's already made a new low? At a break and made a new low? That's the trouble. It's not easy. Not watching Max videos anymore. Yeah, I absolutely get that. I find it more interesting just to see what he's got to say. Just, a lot of the times the way I have my charts compared to his. But I absolutely get where you're coming from. I think sometimes not, we've talked about this a bunch of times, not talking about losses, stuff like that, I think sometimes can be a little bit detrimental. So I absolutely get it, mate. There's so much you can do, when you get these accounts. You may go for 3 or 4 contracts, make them get to payment and do really well. But if you start taking losses, it can damage your account and damage you mentally. So there's no easy answer. But as it's your first, I think it's more important to your, mental health. That's probably not the best word. Confidence level, just self-belief and confidence. I think it's more that you keep it. And not only that, let me tell you one thing. If you manage to keep that account and grow it to your $4,000, you've done really well. Not everyone can do that on the first account. In fact, I'll probably go as far as to say 99% of people couldn't do it. So that would be good for your confidence. So the trouble is, as great as prop firms are, they can get you into very bad habits. And I know that from experience. So, I think the better you trade the way trading should be done, I think you've got more chance of avoiding some of those pitfalls. Yeah, the take profit. Okay, so I had a slight issue with. Now, I had 2 accounts which I had week before last, and I was trading them on their own. And I took a short. Market moved very volatile, and I couldn't close my orders. My order went yellow, and I went into Tradevate to shut the accounts, and they weren't showing for some reason. I don't know why. So I emailed Take Profit Trader, and I didn't really get much luck with them. I thought the guy was a little bit rude. He said, unless you've recorded it on video, there's nothing we can do. And I'm thinking, 1, I wasn't streaming at the time, and 2, how many people record by video? And when something goes wrong, to say, if you don't video it, there's nothing we can do. So I got a little bit pissed off with them, to be fair. Which is why I've took my affiliate thing off. Now, as much as I make a little bit from them, it's more for me about how I feel about a company. So I wouldn't suggest you don't use them. I think they got, certain good qualities. But for me, I was just really annoyed that I just had nothing. So, I should have stayed. My trade, but orders didn't look good. Yeah, you're Algeria, Laffy, aren't you? Yeah, some companies are funny about certain countries. I don't know why. I don't know why Algeria would be on that level. But now I was just a bit annoyed with him. I just found the guy a little bit rude, and it narked me. So I just took it off in a moment of frustration. I thought, I'm not going to advertise them. Not that I don't think they're a bad company. I just don't think they treated me very well. Take Profit Trader. I was shorting the two accounts, and I took a short, and I worked out I should have been $600 in profit. But the market started being really volatile. And I went short, and it hit my profit, but the order was yellow and it didn't close, and the market bounced and started going up. Take Profit Trader, yeah. So I went on to Tradeovate, and I couldn't see my accounts. So I went onto the account dashboard to see if there was a way I could close the account, and I couldn't see anything. So I went on to there's like a live chat, which took about 30 minutes in the end. And he said, if you haven't videoed it, there's nothing we can do. And I'm thinking, for one, he doesn't know I'm a streamer, and most of the time I do video it, but how many people video their trades? And I thought, that is not a good answer. If something's gone wrong, if you haven't videoed, there's nothing we could do. They could at least look into it. So I just got to, I wasn't in the best of moods anyway. So I just thought, I'm really annoyed with that. So I messaged him and I said, I'm affiliate for you. Take me off my affiliate. So they stopped my affiliate straight away. I said, I don't want to be an affiliate anymore. Now, I don't make a lot of money, but I make some money. But I just thought, I didn't like the way they treated me. So I didn't want to, Now, I wouldn't suggest that let you put off. It was just my experience. But I've never had that with Tradeovate, where Ninja Trader, it goes yellow and I couldn't close a trade. Now, I know in my Traderify accounts, I can quickly sign in and I can close orders, although I don't think it happens often, but I just found him rude. So I just messaged back. I said, I'm a streamer. I don't have a huge amount of people, but I am an affiliate, but I don't want to be anymore. So can you remove my affiliate status? I got a letter with a bit of an apology. It said, we've removed your status. So that was it. I didn't even bother carrying on anymore. But it's a shame. I had kind of hopes for Take Profit Trader. But there you go. I tell you one I am going to give a go at some point is Lucid. Is that? That's Max thing. Lucid is another one like. The only slightly frustrating about Traderify is the 90-10 split right from the get-go. There is a lower high there, but I'm going to avoid that at the moment. Channel break, new high. You could argue this is a channel down, but I'm just not sure at the moment. We've been going sideways. We may break out and push back in, so I'm going to avoid that at the minute. I was tempted to take it, but if we can get a failure, then that may be better. But I don't want to go short just yet because we have had a break and we haven't made a new high. Yeah, Algeria. You wouldn't expect Algeria to. Maybe Iraq or Afghanistan or something, places like that, but Algeria, that doesn't make sense. It must be frustrating, though, to be able to, because, having access to prop firms, we're quite lucky in a sense that we have. So, yeah, it must be frustrating. It's not like you can up and move, is it? So it hasn't triggered that lower high anyway, or whatever it is, but it does look like it might be pushing up. So okay, I've just noticed Dan has his drawn like this, the same. So maybe a failure there. Top Step are having some bad press at the moment, aren't they? I watched the video last night where it was called The Downfall of Top Step or something. They used to have good, a good name, Top Step, but I think didn't they change to their own platform and expected people to use it? I know Cami Capital, nice guy. I chat to him once in a while. They dropped him. He'd been a big affiliate. Tempting there. It's just something about this I don't like. It is a failure, but it's a little bit congested. So I'm just going to sit tight here and avoid this. It's only 6 ticks, so it's not a huge risk. No, I'm gonna hold back. I was very tempted there, but it is a little bit congested. No, that's what I mean. I think they annoyed a lot of people. We're not picking off any liquidity by coming down here, so I'm just going to sit tight. You can argue it's a failure, but EMA's flat. It's a little bit congested, so I'm just not sure about this. It may well come down, but there's something about this I don't like. It's not an easy day today, so it can be a bit trappy. You can see how I've put that line there. There is some support resistance there, so this may push up and bounce. That would be a better failure to take, but look, if you'd have taken that, you'd be on... Yeah, I mean, there's a doji there. I'm just sitting tight here. It is a small risk. You maybe could jump in here and risk only 3 ticks, but there's something about it like it's a little bit sideways. We've got a couple of dojis there, so I think the safe option is it's never an easy day, yeah. You're not wrong. It may well go down, but the way it's acting now, not only that bearish bar there may be stops above there, so channel up with a break, it could push up. My Funny Futures, there was something I didn't like about My Funny Futures, so I didn't use them again. I can't remember what it was. It was one of their rules I didn't like, not necessarily the company. Yeah, so if you'd have taken that now, you'd be a bit concerned. No, you never quite know. It may hold. The more times it skims across this line, it may just decide to drop. But it's clearly stacking up a bit there. So my opinion is you just got to be a bit cautious there. Another thing I've noticed as well, if it triggers you and pushes up and starts to go sideways, it doesn't even often come down and give you a chance to get out for break even before it stops you out. So if I'm having a quick look here, there are a few orders at 36, so it may go down, but there's quite a few up here as well. So for me at the moment, I'm not quite sure where it's going, so I'm just sitting tight. So we drop down, and all of a sudden push up quickly. So this isn't moving down very strong for me. Funded next, I heard good things about. Yeah, there's a lot of companies coming out, which is good for the consumer. Absolutely. I was chatting with a guy from... I had an email by a guy, I forget his name now. Let me just see if I can find it. From Affordable Indicators. He's messaged me a couple of times. I've just been a bit busy. I was going away. So he messaged me. I feel I can find it about trying A guy called Alex Daniels. I don't know if he's the CEO or something. I don't know. Alex Daniels. From Affordable Indicators. Now, I've been watching some of their videos. Really interesting. You're about to get stopped out there. Yeah, so they got this software they have. You know, sometimes we get ghost orders here. Sometimes orders won't close and they'll reverse. What this does, when it closes orders, it searches again, it scans it and closes orders a second time. So if any orders are open, it scans them again. You may argue there's a triple test here and it may well come down, but it's a bit congested for me. So you just never quite know whether we're going to have a leg up, trap a few shorts and then rock it up. So I'm going to have a look around that and play that. Now, having said that, I do like Replicanto, and I have spoken to the guy a bunch of times. I've had some nice conversations with him. I don't know if is it Rodolfo? There's a couple. But I do like the idea. There's loads of little bits and pieces, but they did upgrade the software a few weeks ago. So there is a video out there on Affordable Indicators. So I am going to have a play around with that. The one thing about being a streamer is you do get approached. Now, I'm small fry compared to people like Nutty and that, but, you know, never ignore the little guy. But you do get a few people approaching you to, you know, for free software and to have a look at the software. So you've always got that option to have a look at it. But I do like the fact that there's more and more bits and pieces coming out to help traders, you know, i.e. new prop firms with new and better rules, quicker payouts. Got to say, I've had 4 payments so far from Traderify. The payments have been approved in less than an hour and they've been paid in less than 24 hours. In most cases, I've had it approved and paid in less than 8 hours. And it's quick. I like that. So I like Traderify, but Lucid's supposed to be almost identical. The one thing with Lucid is when you get your payments, you can get up to 10,000 to the first, the first $10,000 you get isn't at night. You get the full amount. It's not 90-10 split. So whereas I got 8,000, you know, or 10,000, when the next one comes, you lose 2,000 of it. So I kind of like the idea of that. But yeah, Traderify have been okay. I've had no issues at all. Everything's worked fine. And I've been paid out super quick. I just got another $500 a couple of days ago from an Apex account. So we've got to move down one leg up. I'd like to see a push up and take out any liquidity here and then maybe continuation. I've had a good month, but I had a crap 3 months before that. So what I've earned over the last month really is just covered a wage for the last 3. Well, it's 4, so I've had, what, 8, 16 and a half. I've had 16,500 in the last 2 weeks. But really, that's over the last 4 months, in all fairness. So it's not as good as it sounds. If I'd have that every month, I'd say, yeah, maybe I deserve a pat on the back. But if I wouldn't have stupidly moved my stop, I blame Karina. She was talking to me at the time. No, I'm only kidding. But no, in fact, while it was coming against me, Karina was shouting at me, telling me to close the trade, and I didn't. I should have listened to her. I think I'm going to have to buy myself one of those electronic dog collars and then give Karina the zapper. And whenever I do something naughty, she can just give me a quick zap. So I'd like to see all this liquidity. So looks bullish now. Yeah, trouble is, now I'm looking at Bookmap, there's orders all over the place. There's orders down here at 32, which is down the bottom. Stronger ones. And there's orders further up here and a bunch of in between. So it's hard to know what's going on here. But what I will say is we've had this move down, touch, 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 touch. It does look like a channel, and this looks like a break. So before this comes down anymore, that's if it does, I'd like to see it just break above this one especially. But there as well, if you're short there, you may put your stop above there. In which case, we may have something along those lines and then possibly down some more, but that would be a rough guesstimate at the moment. I wouldn't swear to anything really. It's, you know, every time we hit a bottom, it's doing it at a different level, and same with the top. So you have a stop order above the actual range. You're on about up here, are you? Or this little one here? I'd like to see 2 legs and then maybe a push below that AMA and a lower high. So this to me looks like it's coming down. There is what looks like 2 kind of legs and a bullish bar there, so maybe that's liquidity. That's where around about 35-ish. There is a little bit of liquidity down there. As we know, price does move to liquidity, so that is bang on 35. And there are a few orders you can see in there at 35. Not a huge amount, but they are getting a bit darker. Trouble is, there's orders all over the shop. So it's hard to kind of pick a direction there. I mean, you could argue 1, 2, 3 triple test, and this thing comes down. I'd have liked to have seen it break above there, though. Could argue 1, 2, 3. I'm staying out of this just at the moment. Because it's a bit choppy, this market at the moment, and it's the M2. I'm assuming that's the 2 hour. Oh, 2 minutes, is it? 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Let me have a look at that. No. Looks like it's working. Trouble is, we've got a channel there with a break, so I was tempted with that, but I'm just going to leave it a touch at the moment. Yeah, they're not hugely different, really. In fact, they're actually closer than I thought. Yeah, they're not. They're not that different, actually. I'm quite surprised. You look at that. We've got a small break there, small break there. They're very close. They're very close. Interesting. Yeah, I did look at that. But I took something similar yesterday in a way. It's still a little bit congested. Just it's not super clear. I'd have preferred to break above there, in which case we could trigger that and push up. Then you may argue there's kind of a channel to break a new high. So so it did work. It's easy though after the fact, isn't it? So as I say, there was orders down there, and that to me is as vulnerable as liquidity. Trouble is, when you look at Bookmap, there's orders all over the place, and it's very hard to get. It's kind of very mixed, isn't it? Yeah, it just makes it so messy that today. It's not that easy to read. Been trading sim for about 3 years. That's super good control, that Lofi. I mean, it's great to do that, to learn on a sim. Absolutely. You're not risking any money. The one thing you're missing, though, and obviously up until now, because we know you've got a peer account. You have to have that experience of what it feels like to have the emotions. Now, what I will say is that I suppose, the longer you've been trading a sim, you'll have more confidence in your ability as a trader based on, how you're trading and how you believe your trading is. But when you then get a little bit of risk, it does sometimes change how you trade. You may stay out of a trade because of a bit of nerves that you may ordinarily get in. Because you're probably missing trades by doing that, you may be inclined to get into a trade you ordinarily might not have taken. So I remember just as an example, most of you have heard of Wilson. V. Wilson, his name is. I've chatted to him on and off for about 4 years. Not long after I started, he started posting his charts and he had a lot of winners. And some of his winning days were 15, 20, 30,000. And, a few people said, no, he's trading real money, so on and so forth. And I thought this guy's absolutely killing it. Well, apparently he was trading on a sim. Now, ultimately, you don't know. But when then he started taking evaluations, people didn't realise that he was trading in a sim. And then he came out and said, well, I never said it wasn't. But he then went from absolutely killing it to really struggling. So when you go on to that second level from learning the skills of trading, or at least starting to learn the skills of trading, and then you start trading then with the added emotions, they play way more of a role than you realise. And it's kind of frustrating, really, because without the emotions, trading would be a lot more straightforward, but it's not that simple to switch them off. You'd think it would be, but, if you've traded on a sim and you've got a 90% win rate and you've taken 500 trades over 3 years, that makes sense that you're doing something right. But then when you add the emotions, it does throw a spanner in the works and it makes things way more trickier. Unfortunately, there's no way around it unless you're a robot. So it's a shame, really, we can't have some kind of a built-in mechanism that you can just switch off your emotions. I remember Wilson trading 30 contracts back in the day, I guess now. Yeah, I mean, I remember looking at Wilson's trade and I'm thinking, that's what I want to be like. I want to be like Wilson. He's great. He seemed to be making a ton of money, but then, people found out that then he was trading a sim. He never said he wasn't trading a sim, but I don't think he didn't sort of come out and say it is a sim, but he was posting his charts as if he was kind of making real money. And I remember some guy said, no, he's definitely trading real money. He made $1 million last year. And then all of a sudden he started doing evaluations and his trading changed, which, you kind of expect. But it is frustrating to learn to trade because you do hit that realization that you think you're in control, but you're not. Yeah, it is frustrating. Does seem easy, but it's a tough one. You have to take into account that many traders have huge positions and the stock market, which means they can't lose with short. The shorts are good for 10. Yeah. I mean, I look at this chart sometimes and think, why did it do this? I had a bullish bar. Now, it might be a bullish bar on my chart, but you change to a 2-minute chart or a 2-hourly chart. you tend to forget that not everyone is looking at the same things that you are. And I was reading the book the other day, and this trader was saying there's lots of financial decisions that are made during a day that affect how investors put money in. So something all of a sudden made just seem to go up that was first thought initially coming down. It's not a case of the only time investors or, big investment firms that maybe trade, the only time they, take trades or avoid trades or make decisions is based on news. Not necessarily. There are so many things that can, during the trading week and trading month that could, people could decide to come out of positions or reduce positions. And obviously if a big investment firm decides to dramatically reduce a position, you don't know, is it going to drop enough to affect the likes of me and you who trade for very small positions? You know what I mean? FOMC over the space of a weekly chart might not do a huge amount, but over the space of a 2000 tick chart can shoot up a massive amount and completely cripple you. So there are lots of decisions made, over the working week that may cause the market to struggle to go up. I mean, we think channel break new low. Almost always that happens, but sometimes it doesn't. Maybe that time is because, things change in the financial, with some of these big financial decisions. So channel down with a break, one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower. Now this may be a penguin strategy to go long. But I'm just sitting tight at the moment. I'm not quite sure what's going. You may argue it's a triple test area. If we get a big bearish bar, it may come down. Trouble is we've had a small break here and we have had one leg down and a second leg. We have had two attempts to go down, so that might mean it's struggling to get below there. So, the shorts may give up and price may start to move. Disco, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, there's all sorts of, things that are happening with these big financial firms that come out markets. Half the stuff we don't really know about. As a retail trader, your knowledge is limited. We're not up there with all the big financial institutions and know how they all work all of the time. Which may be why Mac might be right after all. Maybe 1 point is the way to go. Who knows? I'm always open-minded. I'll never say anything's wrong. I'll disagree with people, but I'll never say they're wrong. It's agree to disagree. Is he right? Am I wrong? Who knows? But I have to give the guy respect because he's been doing this for a lot of years. So I have to say what you do is not for me, but I'm not saying you're wrong. Stop got triggered. Yes, a couple of people went long there. Second entry long triple test. Yeah, maybe, but the trouble is, I just don't like taking something that far off the bottom and close to the EMA because you never quite know whether it's going to trigger and come down, and then we end up having a few moves, maybe 1-2 legs down. So if you look on bookmap again, it's a bit of a mess. There's orders. Usually, in a lot of the time, there is stronger orders in one direction, more the other, but there's just mixed passive orders sat the whole length of this right over here, isn't there? So it's a bit hard to kind of work out what's where. There's obviously stronger orders here and here. Excuse me, which may mean it comes down. Those orders are at 32, which is down below. I think lows of the day, isn't it? No, Sorry, just down below here. So we may be 3 attempts to push higher and then down, but I'm not sure what's going on here. I'd at least like it to break above there. Channel break new high. You may argue that that's a triple test then. Okay, so channel break new high. Market can do what the market wants. Yeah, absolutely. Just goes to show we're kind of a little tiny speck, aren't we, really? Any ideas when Apex will start 90% off? I got no idea, mate. You never know. People think affiliates know, sorry, streamers that know. We don't really. I just kind of get the message. We don't even get told earlier. We kind of get the message when you do. I'm not sure what the financial sorry, the I mean, you US guys, when's the next holiday? When's the next holiday? I know we've got one in November. What is it? What's the holiday in November? Have you got, I was going to say, have you got 4th of July in November? No. there is a big one in November. They do generally follow the I actually prefer the one they just had. I like the ones that we got 2 legs up here. Bearish Bari, I don't think would be a bad option. Black Friday. No, I think there's an actual US holiday, isn't there? Let's have a look. I usually have a printout from the CME group. Thanksgiving. So November 11th is Is that right? Oh, no, tell a lie. Veterans Day is November the 11th. Thanksgiving's the 27th. So I'm guessing a couple of weeks' time for Veterans Day. I wouldn't have thought they'd wait that long, but failing that, you never know. They had that 80% off and $85, and then they closed it for a couple of days and gave it again. Channel break new high. Tempting that. 2 legs up. But this market is a little bit risky. It'd be very small risk. But the way it's triggered and already started pushing up, I'm just leaving this. Now, I usually use Bookmap, but if you look, there's orders below it, there's orders above it, so I don't know. There's orders at 41 here, but they're just a little bit lower. I mean, it's 6 ticks. You could jump in here and risk 4 ticks. And if it does work, you're laughing. I mean, there is 2 legs up. Very tempting, just for a small risk. I mean, I could go down to 1 contract, drop an order down here, risking about $75, and hopefully get a move. We can get a lower high and have a go at that, because it does look like 2 bigger legs. I was tempted to get in back here and just drop to a contract, but I left it. Lower high for me would be the better option. I know a couple of traders that have taken that. There is 2 legs up. Got leg down. Could get a full leg down. It could almost be like a correction. May get a decent move down. There's going to be liquidity here and here, so it may kind of work right down. In fact, now I see it, it was such a small risk, I think it's probably worth taking. You can put your stop here, have a risk-free trade, and hopefully get a push down. But if we get a lower high, I'll probably have a go at it. It's easy to say, oh, I should have took it. Now we know it worked, but at the time you don't. Trouble is, we've had a small break here, and we've had a couple of attempts to go lower, and also it does look like we've had 3 bounces here, so you never know. It may trick some shorts and push up to the top. So it's never that straightforward. So I don't think Dan took it. I think Thomas Wade said he's waiting for a lower high. I don't think it was a terrible trade. So, I mean, it's gone down. You'd have got, I mean, I go for 3 points, so you comfortably did that. Okay, I'm going to have to leave it there, folks. I've got to go and pick my wife up in about 20 minutes. So I've done 2 hours on the stream and an hour before. So it's, Wednesday today. So I'll be back tomorrow and we'll do it all again. So best of luck to you. I hope you get a trade. Remember, it's FOMC day today. It may be a slow, boring old day. How you doing, Ben? Maybe a slow, boring all day. So best of luck to you. Have a good evening. Stay safe. And I'll be back tomorrow and we'll do it all again. Bye for now.